Zombie Army 4 is easily one of my favorite games to come out this year. The action is great and it provides you with a wealth of content to enjoy, from a solid campaign to a very fun horde mode. When it comes to the base game for Zombie Army 4, there is plenty to enjoy. The campaign is comprised of many missions that are broken up into several parts. As you fight through the campaign, the levels try to keep the action interesting with all the different enemies that you will encounter. You have the normal drone-like zombies, zombies with machine guns, snipers, heavies, grenadiers with shields, along with special foes that can revive fallen enemies. The wealth of enemies ensures that the action stays interesting because each of the enemies will require a slightly different tactic to beat them. The shielded grenadiers cannot be killed from the front, so you need to flank them or use a grenade or one of your abilities to take them out. The snipers are usually bouncing off of rooftops, so focusing on them can be dangerous since all of the other enemies are on the ground. In the horde mode, all of the enemy types are thrown at you at once, but the campaign slowly introduces each enemy type as you proceed. While the game excels with its variety and who you are fighting, the level objectives are pretty repetitive. In most missions, you will need to do a combination of objectives where you need to find some items, hold a position, destroy a target, and more. The objectives are typical stuff and serve more as an outline so that the quality action can take place within it. Zombie Army 4 also nails the most important area of the game, the gameplay. The minute-to-minute action is consistently delightful. You are usually up against a large amount of enemies and need to figure out how to deal with them. Some of the environments provide you with optional traps to either lure in enemies or kill them outright. The base game comes with a decent variety of weapons as well. You have a few shotguns, SMGs, pistols, and a few rifles to use. The arcadey nature of the game comes into play with the abilities that you can use. As your combo grows from killing enemies, you will recharge your abilities. One of your abilities allows you to do an instant takedown to both kill an enemy and gain back some health. This is really useful and it incentivizes you to stay in the action to keep that combo high. Along with this, you have your weapon abilities. If you're using a rifle, you can fire off an explosive blast. The SMGs and shotguns go into a slow-mo state where you reload faster and can shoot quicker. The pistol ability allows you to target a few enemies' heads and then get a couple headshots in quick succession. And lastly, you have your melee ability. You can select from 4 different moves. Some provide you with more damage, and others provide you with another avenue to heal yourself. As you complete the levels, you will find and earn upgrades to better personalize your weapons. You can improve the magazine size, reduce the recoil, and much more. Each weapon has 3 small trees, and the final part of the tree gives you a choice on what you want to have. Along with this, you will level up from completing levels and defeating enemies. You also have a wide array of perks to equip. The perks are upgraded by doing different things within the levels. There's a lot to unlock and earn, so even after you beat the campaign, you will want to return back to older levels to find new upgrades. In addition to all of this, you have the Horde mode. The base game comes with 4 maps, and they added 3 free ones to enjoy after launch. What I really like about the Horde mode is that it is fun and intense as you would expect, but you can also opt to escape the map or continue going for as long as you can. The game can be played in both single player and online co-op. The game is great in both of the modes. I played the entire campaign in single player and played a lot of co-op with the Horde mode. In many ways, Zombie Army 4 doesn't really do anything new, but what it does do, it does very well. This is a game that I have continually come back to throughout the year, and I always had a great time with it. Now before I forget, this is a series that started out as a spin-off to the Sniper Elite series, so that means that the glorious X-ray camera is included in this game. It is arguably even more satisfying here since the blood and gore is on full display with heads exploding. Now I want to discuss some of the additional content that has come out through the Season Pass along with the free Horde modes. The first free Horde map is called Undead Wood. This takes you and your team to a swamp. The map is separated into a few sections and it has a bit of a zigzaggy feel to it. It keeps you in a few pockets of areas to move around in, but it is rather small in size. The second map is called Caged Fear and is probably the smallest map in the game. This is a very narrow map with not much wiggle room. The smaller and narrow focus of the map keeps the action very much in your face. It can be good for sniping if you stay back in the beginning area and pick off everyone coming at you. The most recent Horde map is Final Departure, and this takes place in a train station. You get much more room in this mission than in Caged Fear. The first few areas have this wide and long line that you can then explore, but it also branches off that provides you with a shortcut back to the starting area. You get a lot more room to move around in this level, and it's really appreciated. Overall, the new Horde maps don't do anything new for the game, but they provide you with some nice map variety for the Horde mode. The first season pass contains 3 new campaign missions. In Terror Lab, you get a nice variety of sections to shoot through. This mission consists of you infiltrating a lab, fighting within a village, and then having a last stand within the lab itself. Like the rest of the base campaign, the action is very good. There's nothing new here in terms of enemies or objectives. It provides more of the same, but that isn't a bad thing. The second mission, Blood Count, starts out with a pretty good cutscene, with some good humor and action. I really enjoyed this mission since it involved infiltrating a castle and then fighting in an underground base. The final mission involves a lot of tight areas with you fighting in tunnels. Since the lighting is very dark and you have a lot less room to maneuver, it does have this sort of light element of being a survival horror game within these sections. The mission is bookended with a fun boss fight set in a big arena. When it comes to these 3 missions, the action remains relatively the same when compared to the base game. But with the DLCs, you do get to enjoy new locations. Overall, the DLC missions within the first season pass are familiar but very fun. I do want to also note that the first season pass provides you with some more guns to play with. You can use a pistol shotgun, which is useful because now you can equip an SMG in that slot and then have a shotgun dedicated to your pistol slot. The new PPSH is very good, and the FG42 has a lot of firepower, but the recoil is really high. The new rifles are fun to use as well, especially since the carbine can be upgraded to fire a burst shot. The most interesting of the weapons is the crossbow. This weapon is really fun to use and really leans more into the horror setting. Overall, just like I said in my original review, Zombie Army 4 is a solid third-person shooter. The base game provides a wealth of content to enjoy with a sizable campaign and a very fun Horde mode. The free Horde maps were enjoyable as well. The additional paid campaign missions in the first season pass did not really add anything new from a mechanic perspective, but it did provide more quality missions to enjoy. As I have played this throughout the year, it has easily become one of my favorite games of 2020. Rebellion is a studio that makes consistently good games, and this one deserves your attention. They started releasing both free and paid content for Season 2, and I would expect the same level of execution found in the first season pass. More of the same, but fun content. If you are in the mood for a very fun third-person shooter, then I would highly recommend you check this one out. Thank you very much for watching.